The hottest fire forges the strongest steel. Seneca. They thought breaking you would humble you. They thought walking away would leave you chasing their shadow, begging for their attention, waiting for crumbs. But what they didn't realize, my friend, is that they didn't leave you broken. They left you burning. Because when a Stoic man falls, he doesn't stay down. He rebuilds himself from the ashes and becomes the very fire that keeps others awake at night. Hey folks, imagine this. You're standing in a dark room and someone walks out holding your only light. You panic at first, trying to find your way, stumbling, reaching for the glow that's fading away. But then your eyes start to adjust. You realize something powerful. You didn't lose your light. You were the light. You just forgot how bright you could burn on your own. That's the kind of awakening we're talking about today. The moment you stop chasing the people who walked away, the moment you stop explaining your worth to someone too blind to see it, you stop being the hunter and start being the flame. And flames, my friends, don't chase, they just rise. Most people have it twisted. They think attraction is built through effort, attention, and endless availability. They think if they show they care harder, love louder, text faster, they'll win someone back. But the truth? The more you chase, the more you erase your mystery. The more you explain, the less they listen. And the moment they feel you need them, the fire of attraction dies out. You want them to regret walking away? Don't send a message, send silence. Don't prove your worth, embody it. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, that's where your power is. Not in reaction, not in revenge, but in quiet transformation. Because when you go still, when you stop explaining, defending, and chasing, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability, folks, is magnetic. They'll start to wonder where you went, why your energy feels different, why you're no longer orbiting around them. That confusion, that's the seed of regret beginning to bloom. You see, regret doesn't hit when they leave. It hits when they realize you didn't fall apart. It hits when they see you glowing differently, walking taller, speaking calmer, and living freer. That's when the tables turn. The person who once thought they had control now feels the weight of their own mistake. I'm not here to sell you false hope. I'm here to remind you of a simple truth. You were never the one who lost. You were the lesson they'll never forget. Every time you hold your peace instead of proving your point, you're winning. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you're burning their regret into memory. So let's make a promise today, right here, right now. You're done chasing. You're done begging to be seen. You're done waiting for closure. From now on, you're the fire, the one who doesn't chase warmth because he is the warmth. The one who doesn't explain his value because he embodies it. Type this in the comments so I know you're walking with me. I am the fire. Because you are. And the moment you start believing it, everything and everyone will start moving differently around you. Stay with me, because what's coming next will make them remember you every time they close their eyes. Number 1. Stop explaining your worth. Never waste your breath trying to prove your value to those committed to misunderstanding it. There comes a point where you have to stop performing for people who will never clap for you. You've been trying, haven't you? Trying to explain why you're good enough, why you're loyal, why you deserve to be seen. You've written paragraphs that went unanswered, sent long messages that were left unread, and convinced yourself that if you could just say the right words, they'd finally understand your worth. But they didn't. And deep down, you know why. Because people who need convincing will never stay convinced. My friend, imagine standing in front of a mirror, but the mirror is cracked. No matter how clear your reflection is, the cracks distort it. That's what happens when you try to prove your value to someone who's already made up their mind about you. You could shine like gold, and they'll still say you're dull, because it's not you they're seeing. It's their own damage projected onto you. You can't make a broken lens see clearly. You might ask yourself, but what if they just need time? What if they didn't see it before, but they will now? That's the fear whispering in your ear, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of being replaced, the fear that maybe, just maybe, you weren't enough. But here's the truth. They didn't walk away because you weren't enough. They walked away because they weren't ready to handle enough. They weren't ready for someone with depth, presence, or consistency, and so they took your worth and measured it with the shallow scale of temporary emotions. Seneca once said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." Yet most people surrender that power every time they beg for understanding from those who never intended to listen. Every time you explain your worth to someone who devalues it, you hand them the power to define you. You trade your crown for their approval. You turn your dignity into a debate. And that's not love, my friend. That's self-abandonment dressed as effort. Let's break one of the biggest lies you've been told, that love means proving yourself, that if you explain harder, wait longer, or stay patient enough, they'll realize what they lost. But real love doesn't require persuasion. Real connection doesn't need explanation. The moment you feel like you're constantly auditioning for someone's attention, you've already lost the role. Because love built on convincing isn't love. It's captivity. Think about it. When you start explaining your worth, you automatically lower it. The lion doesn't explain its roar. The sun doesn't apologize for its heat. The ocean doesn't beg to be admired. They exist in their truth, and the world adjusts. But when you start trying to make them understand your value, you give them the illusion of authority over it. You become the salesman of your own soul, pitching your greatness to people who can't afford it. It's difficult, I know, especially when your heart is still attached. When you wake up and that silence feels heavier than any goodbye they could have given. When you scroll through old memories trying to decode what went wrong, you think if they could just see how much you care, they'd come back. But the Stoic truth is, they already saw it. They just didn't appreciate it. And chasing more proof won't change that. It only convinces them that you don't see your own value either. There's a reason Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Because once you stop explaining, your actions, your silence, your composure, those become the loudest proof of your worth. The person who left expecting to see you crumble will be haunted by your calm. They'll expect bitterness but find discipline. They'll expect drama but find distance. And that contrast, that unbothered stillness, will burn deeper in their mind than any explanation ever could. The hardest part is letting go of the urge to be understood. Humans crave closure. It gives us peace. But the Stoic understands that peace doesn't come from their apology. It comes from your acceptance. Acceptance that some people are not meant to understand you. They're meant to misjudge you so you can learn to stop needing their validation. You want to burn their regret into memory? Then stop talking. Stop explaining. Stop giving them the power to question what was already pure. Let them sit in the silence they created. Let them wonder how someone they once overlooked became so unreachable. Because when you stop explaining, they start questioning. And when they start questioning, regret begins to grow. I know what you're thinking. What if my silence makes them think I don't care? But that's exactly what you want them to think. Because that thought, the fear that you've moved on, becomes the fire that burns through their pride. You don't need to prove that you care. You already did. Now your silence proves something greater, that you care about yourself more. And that shift, that realization, will shake them. When you finally stop explaining your worth, something amazing happens. You reclaim your peace. You stop performing and start existing. You realize that the right ones never need convincing, and the wrong ones never believe it anyway. You become like the mountain, solid, unmoved, existing in truth regardless of who stands beside it or walks away. So let them misjudge you. Let them misunderstand your silence. Let them underestimate your strength. Because the moment you stop chasing clarity from them, you find clarity within yourself. And that's when everything starts to change. Your stillness becomes power. Your restraint becomes a mystery. Your peace becomes punishment. And they'll start to feel it. The regret creeping in, the confusion taking root, the echo of your absence whispering through their quiet moments. They'll realize that you were never the problem. You were the peace they weren't ready for. So, my friend, stop explaining your worth. Let your growth do the explaining. Let your peace be the proof. And let your silence burn their regret into memory. Type this in the comments right now. My silence speaks value. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that you're done performing for people who never deserved the show. And stay with me, because next, we're going even deeper into how to turn your emotional silence into the loudest message they'll ever hear. Number 2, the power of unavailable energy. If you are always available, you become invisible. Let's be honest, folks. Most people don't lose attraction because you changed. They lose it because you became too accessible. You were always there. Always replying fast, always showing up first. You gave them front row seats to your heart, even when they didn't deserve the ticket. You thought being available meant showing love, but to them, it only meant one thing: you'd never leave. And when people think you'll never leave, they stop trying to make you stay. Imagine this. There's a fire in the distance, glowing bright, pulling everyone closer with its warmth. But if that fire starts walking toward them, chasing them, begging them to feel its heat, it loses its mystery. It's no longer something to seek, it becomes something to escape. That's what happens when you make yourself too available. You stop being the warmth they crave and become the flame they take for granted. Now I know what you might be thinking, but if I don't show interest, won't they forget about me? Won't they think I don't care? That's the fear talking, the fear of being replaced. The fear that silence means losing them forever. But here's what you must understand. Real attraction doesn't grow from presence alone. It grows from distance. When they can't predict your energy, when they don't know if you'll reach out, when they start to feel the space. Curiosity begins to replace certainty, and curiosity is the seed of desire. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Being unavailable isn't about ghosting people. It's about embodying that calm strength. It's about having the discipline to not respond immediately just to ease your anxiety. It's about showing the world and yourself that you don't move out of fear of loss. You move from peace and control. Let's break one of the biggest lies, that love means constant access. It doesn't. In fact, constant access kills attraction faster than conflict ever could. When you're always reachable, you remove the thrill of discovery. You strip away the mystery that keeps people engaged. They stop wondering about you because they already know where to find you, everywhere. Think about it. When something is always available, we subconsciously assign it less value. A diamond on every street corner wouldn't feel rare anymore. A sunrise that lasted all day wouldn't feel special. Your availability has the same effect. The more of it you give away, the less it's appreciated. The Stoic understands this truth deeply. Value isn't shouted, it's felt through scarcity. And yes, it'll feel strange at first. That quiet, that pause. You'll want to reach out, to check in, to show you care. Your emotions will scream, "Do something." But that's exactly when you must do nothing, because your restraint, your ability to stay composed in silence, becomes the most attractive thing about you. When you stop chasing, your energy shifts. You start walking differently, talking differently, carrying yourself with a calm confidence that says, "I'm good with or without you." And that energy, that subtle indifference, is magnetic. They'll feel it even through silence. They'll check your stories. They'll think about you when they wake up. They'll replay old conversations and wonder what happened, because suddenly you're no longer predictable, you're not chasing, you've become the mystery they can't decode. And that's when they start chasing you. Being unavailable doesn't mean being arrogant or cold. It means protecting your peace. It means you're not accessible to everyone, anytime, for anything. You choose where your energy flows. You stop explaining why you're busy, why you need space, why you're not responding right away. You simply move like a man who values his time, his focus, and his growth. And that energy doesn't go unnoticed. It radiates. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And that's what unavailability really is. Freedom. Freedom from needing their reaction to feel worthy. Freedom from performing emotional gymnastics just to stay relevant in their mind. Freedom from proving you care by overgiving. You don't lose people by being unavailable. You lose the ones who were only staying because you made it too easy. When you become less available, you force people to meet you halfway. You set a silent boundary that says, "My time matters." And that's when the shift begins. They start chasing the moments you once gave freely. They start craving your attention again because it's no longer guaranteed. You've turned your energy into currency, rare, valuable, unforgettable. It's difficult at first, yes. Your heart will fight it, your mind will crave response, and your ego will whisper, "Reach out, fix it." But the Stoic in you knows better. You know that peace is worth more than presence. You know that discipline is love directed inward. So you let the silence work. You let the absence speak. Because what they called distance is actually your self-respect returning home. And when they do come back, because they will, you won't even need to prove anything. Your energy will speak louder than your words. Your calm will remind them of what they lost. Your growth will show them what they'll never find again. So stop being the open book they skim through and start being the mystery they can't stop thinking about. Stop being the daily story and become the legend that lingers. That's the power of unavailable energy. It doesn't chase, it attracts. Type this in the comments right now. My silence is power. Because it is. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world around you that the moment you stopped being everywhere, that's when your energy became priceless. Stay with me, because next we'll talk about how to turn their silence into your signal. And that's where the real reversal begins. Number 3. Turn their silence into your signal. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. When they stop talking, when the messages stop coming, when the energy that once felt alive suddenly fades, most people panic. They assume silence means rejection, or worse, replacement. Their mind starts racing. Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Are they talking to someone else? And that panic drives them straight into emotional overdrive, texting more, chasing harder, breaking their own boundaries, trying to get a reaction. But what if I told you their silence isn't your problem, it's your signal? My friend, imagine standing at a crossroads, and instead of noise, there's absolute stillness. No wind, no footsteps, no signs of movement. At first it feels eerie, even terrifying. You want to hear something, anything that tells you where to go. But the Stoic knows that silence isn't absence. It's feedback. It's direction. It's the universe showing you where to stop investing and where to start evolving. Here's the truth. Silence reveals more than words ever could. Words can be dressed in lies, but silence Silence exposes intent. It shows who was there for convenience and who was there with conviction. When they go quiet, when they withdraw, they're telling you something without saying a thing. They're saying, "I'm no longer willing to meet your energy," and that's your cue to stop giving it. The old you would have filled the silence. You would have over-explained, tried to fix what wasn't yours to fix, written messages in drafts hoping to sound just right. You thought if you could just say the perfect thing, you'd bring them back. But the Stoic version of you knows better now. You understand that silence isn't something to fear, it's something to use. Because here's the paradox most people never realize. The moment you stop fighting silence, you start controlling it. When you respond to their distance with stillness instead of panic, it sends a shock through their ego. They expect you to chase, to fold, to react. But when you don't, when you simply pause, they start hearing their own echoes. They start wondering why you haven't reached out, why your tone has changed, why your absence feels heavier than their presence ever did. That's when silence becomes your loudest statement. It communicates strength without aggression, confidence without words. You're no longer trying to fix the dynamic, you're letting them face it. Because sometimes the best way to teach someone your worth is to remove their access to it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference." That's what this step is about. Their silence doesn't define you, it defines them. And when you stop personalizing their withdrawal, you reclaim control over your emotions. You realize that not every silence is rejection. Some silences are protection. The universe is removing distractions, clearing space for your next level. But let's be real, it's not easy. The mind doesn't like unanswered questions. The heart doesn't like unfinished stories. You'll have moments where you'll stare at your phone, waiting for the screen to light up, convincing yourself to send just one message. You'll fight the urge to reopen the wound just to feel something again. That's the test. That's the exact moment where silence becomes a spiritual exercise, a muscle you strengthen by not giving in. And each time you pass that test, each time you resist the urge to chase, you grow. You train your nervous system to find calm in the unknown. You prove to yourself that peace is an inside job, and that evolution is what starts to shift everything. Soon, their silence stops hurting. It starts revealing. You begin to notice patterns, the way their attention only returns when you pull back, the way their interest fades when you overgive. Suddenly, you're no longer reacting to their rhythm. You're writing your own. Their silence becomes your mirror, showing you how much power you've been giving away. Here's something I want you to remember. Your silence is not punishment. It's protection. You're not ignoring them out of spite. You're prioritizing your peace out of wisdom. The more you pull your energy inward, the more you start hearing yourself again. The noise fades and your inner voice grows louder, the one that says, "You've done enough," and words is exchanged. The Stoics believed that every person we meet is a part of our cosmic journey. Nothing happens by accident. Every connection, no matter how brief, carries meaning. But here's the truth most people miss. The thread between two souls isn't always meant to pull them back together. Sometimes it's meant to stretch you, to grow you, to test what your heart is capable of without possession. You see, folks, love isn't ownership, it's resonance. And resonance doesn't fade just because someone walks away. It transforms. That's the part that hurts, when the connection doesn't die, but changes shape. The energy you once shared begins to shift. It's not gone. It's evolving, teaching you how to love without clinging, how to remember without breaking, how to feel deeply without losing yourself. But here's where fear creeps in. You start thinking, if I stop feeling them, maybe it means it wasn't real. No, my friend. The opposite is true. Real love doesn't vanish. It integrates. It becomes part of you. You stop feeling them as a wound and start carrying them as wisdom. That's the invisible thread working its magic. It doesn't exist to keep you stuck. It exists to remind you that souls can touch without needing to stay. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." Think about that. Every emotion, every act of love, every piece of kindness you gave them, it echoes. It becomes energy that doesn't die, just transforms. You might think they've forgotten you, but energy doesn't forget. Every genuine connection leaves an imprint in the universe, and sometimes that's what you're feeling when you suddenly think of them, the echo of shared energy returning to its source. Here's the challenge, though. Most people mistake that energetic pull for a sign to chase. They think, maybe I should reach out. Maybe the universe is telling me to fix this. But the Stoic truth says otherwise. Not every pull means pursuit. Sometimes the pull is just a reminder to remain grateful for what was, not desperate for what could have been. When you feel that connection, pause, breathe. Don't run toward it, reflect within it. Ask yourself, what is this energy teaching me about myself? Because the truth is, the invisible thread doesn't exist to bind you. It exists to balance you. It's there to remind you that love isn't always about holding on. Sometimes it's about growing strong enough to let go with peace in your heart. You can honor the bond without trying to recreate it. You can appreciate the connection without reopening old wounds. And maybe, just maybe, they feel it too. Maybe, somewhere in their quiet moments, they pause and think of you. Maybe they can't explain it either. But here's the secret. You don't need to know. You don't need proof. What's meant for you will never require you to beg for it, chase it, or decode signs to justify it. Real connections, like gravity, don't need validation. They just are. So if you feel that invisible thread tugging at your soul tonight, don't resist it. But don't worship it either. Smile at it. Honor it. Say to yourself, I was blessed to feel something this real. Because that's what most people never get to experience, a bond that lives beyond words. Write this in the comments, my friends. I trust the connection, but I choose my peace. Show yourself that you've learned the highest form of love, the kind that honors energy without attachment. And stay with me, because next we'll go even deeper into the silence itself. The part where no words are spoken, yet everything is still said. Number 5. Silence isn't emptiness, it's energy in motion. Silence is not the absence of sound. It's the presence of everything that words cannot hold. You see, my friends, most people fear silence. They think it means rejection, indifference, or the end of something that once mattered. But here's the truth. The silence after a deep connection isn't emptiness. It's movement. It's transformation. It's the space where energy shifts, grows, and finds its new form. Imagine an ocean after a storm. The waves finally calm, the noise fades, but underneath that still surface, the current is still alive, reshaping the seafloor, carrying life from one place to another. That's what silence does. It works beneath the surface. You can't see it, but it's changing things inside you. It's molding your strength, reshaping your emotional depth, and teaching you to listen, not to others, but to yourself. But let's be honest, it's not easy to sit with that kind of silence, because in today's world, silence feels like punishment. We're conditioned to believe that if they're not talking to us, something's wrong. If there's no message, it must mean we're forgotten. Yet sometimes, silence is the most divine communication there is. Sometimes it's the universe's way of saying, "Be still, I'm working." You might ask, but why does it hurt so much? Why does their silence echo louder than their voice ever did? Because, my friends, your mind was trained to seek validation through noise. You're used to being seen, replied to, acknowledged. But silence forces you to face yourself, and that's where growth begins. Stoicism teaches that discomfort is the birthplace of strength. The silence you fear is the very space where your power is reborn. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful than your own soul." Think about that. You've spent so long waiting for someone else to break the silence, hoping for that text, that call, that apology. But the moment you stop chasing noise, you start hearing the quiet truth within yourself. The one that says, you never needed them to validate what you already were. Let me paint this picture for you. Imagine two people sitting by a fire. At first they talk, laugh, share stories. But after a while, the fire becomes their only light and sound. They sit in silence, but the connection is still there. It's just evolved. That's what happens when real connections mature. Silence doesn't mean it's over. It means the words are no longer enough. And here's where most people break. They mistake silence for being forgotten. They start overthinking. Did I do something wrong? Did they stop caring? No, my friends. Silence doesn't always mean absence. It means distance for reflection. It's the universe clearing the space so both souls can grow separately before reconnecting, if ever they're meant to. And sometimes that silence is permanent, not as a loss, but as a lesson. The Stoic mind doesn't resist silence, it embraces it. It understands that not every echo deserves an answer, and not every silence needs to be filled. Because true power lies in being okay when nothing happens. When there's no message, no update, no validation, and yet you're at peace. That's the kind of strength that can't be shaken. Let's be real, it's uncomfortable at first. You'll pick up your phone and stare at the screen, waiting for a notification that never comes. You'll check old messages, hoping for a sign of life. But eventually, the silence will start speaking to you in a different way. It will tell you, you are healing. It will whisper, you don't need closure to close. It will remind you that silence doesn't mean you've been abandoned. It means you've been invited to return to yourself. Sometimes the silence is their journey too. Maybe they're growing. Maybe they're learning lessons they couldn't learn beside you. And that's okay. Because if there's one thing energy understands, it's timing. When something is truly aligned, silence doesn't destroy it. It strengthens it. It refines the bond until both souls are ready to meet again or ready to move on peacefully. So instead of fearing the quiet, learn to trust it. Treat silence like sacred soil, the place where your next version is being planted, the place where wisdom takes root, the place where peace becomes louder than longing. Because silence isn't the end of your story, it's the pause between chapters that gives meaning to the words that follow. Write this in the comments, my friends. I trust the silence. Let the world see it. Let yourself feel it. Because silence isn't the universe ignoring you, it's the universe preparing you. And stay with me, because next, we're stepping into something even deeper. The unseen space where two souls still call out to each other, even when the world stays quiet. Number 6. When souls call each other in silence. Real connections don't always speak, they resonate. Have you ever felt that sudden tug in your chest, like someone you once loved just crossed your thoughts at the exact same moment you crossed theirs? You're sitting quietly, maybe sipping coffee, scrolling your phone, or driving alone, and then, out of nowhere, their image flashes before you. You feel that strange warmth in your chest, almost like an invisible touch. That, my friends, is not coincidence. That's resonance. That's the silent conversation between two souls that still recognize each other across time and distance. You see, we live in a world obsessed with messages, calls, notifications, and constant noise. But the soul doesn't speak through words. It speaks through energy. It whispers through emotions that come uninvited, through dreams that feel too vivid, through random songs that suddenly hit you in the gut. And sometimes that's not your imagination. It's connection, still alive, still moving, still humming on a frequency that logic can't decode. Imagine two pianos in different rooms. If you play a note on one, the same note will softly vibrate on the other. No touch, no sound traveling between them, just resonance. That's what happens between two souls that once harmonized deeply. When one stirs, the other feels the echo. That's the mystery of real energy. And maybe that's why, even after silence, even after endings, you still sense them. But here's the truth that Stoicism reminds us of. You cannot control resonance, only response. You can't decide who thinks of you, who dreams of you, or who still feels your energy. But you can decide what that energy means to you now. You can let it make you anxious, always wondering what they're doing. Or you can let it make you grateful, knowing that you once connected in a way most people never do. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." So when your thoughts drift to them, be mindful of the color you're painting with. Don't let it be the gray of longing. Let it be the gold of gratitude. Let your thoughts be gentle, not obsessive. Let them be reminders of love's depth, not wounds that bleed in silence. Because here's the hard truth, folks. Not every spiritual connection is meant to be physical forever. Sometimes your soul calls theirs not to reunite, but to release. Not every vibration means you're meant to cross paths again. Sometimes it's just a final echo, a cosmic goodbye that both hearts can feel but never say aloud. You might say, "But I feel them so strongly, it must mean something." It does mean something. It means you have a heart that's still open. It means your energy hasn't turned bitter. It means love didn't break you. It expanded you. That's power, not weakness, because while most people close off after loss, you're still able to feel deeply. And that, my friends, is what makes you rare. It's also what makes this process hard. Because when souls call out in silence, it can feel like the universe is teasing you. You sense them, you think about them, and yet nothing happens. No message, no closure, just feeling. But that's where the Stoic truth steps in. Detachment isn't about not feeling, it's about not needing. You can acknowledge the pull without letting it drag you back into confusion. You can feel their energy without losing your own. Think of it this way. When two stars burn close together, their gravity affects each other's orbit. But if one star moves on, the other must stabilize itself or risk spinning out of control. That's you right now. You're learning how to hold your own orbit, even while feeling their pull. It's not easy, but it's how strength is born. And who knows? Maybe they do feel it too. Maybe at 2 a.m., when they're lying awake, something inside them whispers your name just as yours whispers theirs. Maybe they look at the same moon and feel the same ache. But whether they do or don't, you must remember this. Your peace isn't dependent on their recognition. Your peace is your responsibility. So the next time that familiar thought of them passes through your mind, don't panic, don't romanticize it. Just smile and say, "I feel you, but I'm free." Because real connection doesn't demand possession. It simply reminds you that once your soul vibrated in tune with something extraordinary. Write this in the comments, my friends. I feel, but I'm free. Let that be your affirmation tonight. Show yourself that you can honor the energy without being owned by it. And stay with me, because next, we're uncovering the hidden reason behind all of this. The lesson that person's presence left inside you. The message your mind has been trying to reveal all along. Number 7. The lesson hidden in the thought. People don't stay in your mind to haunt you, they stay to teach you. Every time that same person crosses your thoughts, no matter how much you try to move on, distract yourself, or bury the feeling, there's something deeper happening. Something your soul is trying to tell you. Because if someone keeps showing up in your mind without communication, there's a lesson hiding beneath that repetition. Thoughts are not accidents. They are messengers. Imagine your mind like a classroom, my friends. Every experience is a teacher, and every thought is a student raising its hand, saying, "You haven't learned this yet." The reason that one person still lives rent-free in your head isn't always because of love. It's because they came with a lesson that you haven't fully understood. Maybe they came to teach you about boundaries. Maybe they came to awaken your self-worth. Maybe they came to show you what unconditional love looks like, or what it doesn't. But here's what most people do. They avoid the lesson. They replay the memory without reflection. They keep wondering why instead of asking what. Why do I still think about them keeps you stuck. But what is this thought trying to show me sets you free. That's Stoic wisdom right there. Transformation through awareness. You see, life has a way of repeating lessons until you finally learn them. That's why the same type of person keeps appearing in different faces, different body, same energy. The universe doesn't send you someone new until you've mastered the lesson the last one carried. So if they still appear in your thoughts, maybe it's not about them anymore. It's about you, the version of you that met them, the version of you that loved them, the version of you that lost yourself in them. The thought is not about missing them, it's about remembering you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." And that's what Stoicism teaches. Don't run from pain, use it. Every time your mind drifts back to that person, use it as a mirror. What part of you still needs healing? What part of you did you give away that you now need to reclaim? Because until you take back what you lost in that connection, your mind will keep replaying the movie. It's not obsession, it's unfinished business. Now here's the truth most people never face. Sometimes the lesson is not closure with them, it's closure with yourself. You keep waiting for them to come back and explain, to give you the ending you deserve. But what if the real ending is you realizing that you no longer need it? What if the closure you've been waiting for from them is actually supposed to come from within you? That's when you finally graduate from that emotional classroom. And maybe, just maybe, the thought of them is there to remind you that you're capable of loving deeply, even when it didn't last. That you can feel without bitterness. That you can let someone go and still be grateful that your paths crossed. That's emotional mastery, my friends. That's how you turn pain into wisdom. Because the Stoics never said not to love, they just said not to lose yourself in the process. So the next time their image flashes through your mind, don't get angry at yourself. Don't think, "Ugh, not again." Smile and say, "Thank you for reminding me who I've become," because you're not who you were when you met them. You're wiser now, stronger, quieter, and maybe, finally, at peace. The thought isn't them calling you, it's your soul showing you how far you've come since them. Think of it like the last note of a song fading into silence. You don't curse the silence. You appreciate the melody that led you here. That's the beauty of growth. You don't forget the music, but you stop needing to replay it to feel alive. So if someone still lives in your mind, don't see it as torment, see it as transition. You're evolving. The energy is closing its circle. You're moving from connection to comprehension. That's not weakness, that's awakening. Write this in the comments, my friends. I learned, I grew, I'm free. Let the world see it. Let yourself feel it. Because that's your declaration, that you turned emotional weight into inner wisdom. And before you go, if this message spoke to your heart, press that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. Because this is what growth looks like, not forgetting the story, but becoming the person who finally understands it. Remember this, if they still live in your mind, it's not because you're stuck. It's because your soul wanted to make sure the lesson was never forgotten. And now, my friends, you've learned it.